I hope you're as excited as I am because we are talking about Captain Marvel today. Woo!
JosharooTube.
Hi guys, welcome to JosharooTube. My name is Josh, and in case you couldn't tell, I'm very excited to be talking about Captain Marvel with you today. I have been wanting to talk about Captain Marvel for so long. Obviously I couldn't because the movie had not come out yet, but it has come out. I have seen it twice. We have all seen it twice. We are so excited to talk to you about this movie. Captain Marvel was awesome. Captain Marvel was phenomenal. I was laughing so hard when Carol Danvers was like beating up the old lady on the train. The movie was so good. I could not stop screaming the whole time. I was obsessed with every single second of it from start to finish. I had no idea what was going on the entire time. Just like all of you, I have been waiting for a very long time for this film to come out. I was so excited to see it. I'm even more excited to review it because there is so much to talk about. All of the spoilers in the film we will be saving till the end. So if you are not familiar with Captain Marvel, if you haven't seen it yet, or you are not familiar with the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all of that stuff will be coming later. We're gonna be talking about our favorite things, our least favorite things, so many aliens. And then there were some controversial things that kind of happened behind the scenes with some people tampering with Rotten Tomatoes reviews, some crap. There's so much to talk about. Let's get started. We're gonna very quickly cover the plot because most of you probably already know what happens, but for anybody who might not, this is the basic gist of Captain Marvel. Brie Larson plays a character named Carol Danvers, but when the film starts, she wakes up from a dream and we learn that her character's name is Veers. We don't know why her name is Veers, but we do know that she is a Kree warrior in training living on Hala. We also see that she possesses powers of some kind, and her mentor, Yon-Rogg, played by Jude Law, tells her that if she ever overuses her powers, then she has to pay a visit to the Supreme Intelligence to kind of keep herself in check and learn to control her emotions. What kind of name is Yon-Rogg though? That rug down yonder, that Yon-Rogg, needs to go to the cleaners. Josh, what was Jude Law's name in Captain Marvel again? Yon-Rogg. It's Yon-Rogg. Yon-Rogg! Should have been receding hairline. That thing is going back. Now, nobody knows what the Supreme Intelligence looks like, but whenever Veers goes and pays a visit, she sees a woman from her past. She doesn't know who the woman is, she doesn't know why she's seeing this woman, but this woman is played by Annette Bening. We love Annette Bening. She could quite literally stare at the clouds and tell me what she sees, and I would be enthralled. Annette Bening, as the Supreme Intelligence, tells Veers the same thing. You have to control yourself, learn how to use your powers, and don't overuse them. Then, Veers, Yon-Rogg, and a few others go off on a mission. The mission does not go as planned, and Veers suddenly finds herself on planet C-53, also known as Earth. She lands in a very iconic scene in a blockbuster, which is so fun. R.I.P. Blockbuster. I have no idea what Blockbuster is, but it looks awesome. I miss Blockbuster too! Oh, I've robbed a few Blockbusters, yes. She runs into a very young Nick Fury, a very young Agent Coulson, and that's where the fun really begins. Carol Danvers has no idea who she is, which is crazy because how do you just not know who you are? I can relate though. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, where am I? One time I woke up in a treehouse and I was like, how did I get here? Carol Danvers has to piece together who she is, because otherwise, how's she ever gonna learn her true purpose? Carol Danvers has amnesia. She can't remember anything. That's why she needs a little help from her friends. But you start to wonder real quick if her friends are really friends. The film follows Veers uncovering her backstory. She has flashbacks of herself as a little girl. She has flashbacks of herself undergoing military training. And it's a story of her kind of putting the pieces together of who she was on Earth and how she became Veers and a part of the Kree civilization. Now, while all of this is going on Earth, there is this war going on between the Krees and the Skrulls. And the Skrulls are these like shape-shifting aliens. Terrifying! And basically they can look at another human and immediately take on that persona. I really liked the Skrulls. I was sitting there enjoying a nice high, and all of a sudden there's these alien critters running around shooting at each other. I said, what's going on, Floyd? I was so scared of the green aliens. They can just turn into anyone they want. God, he is so loud at the movies. He wouldn't shut up. Every 2 seconds it was, oh. And I was like, calm the fuck down. I'm high as a kite and I'm not even making any noise. So basically Veers is trying to uncover her past and figure out the Skrull situation and figure out who this woman is, how she ties into the whole story. It's all a big mystery. The more the mystery intensifies and the more digging that happens, we realize that there are some twists and turns. We will stop there with the plot because I do not want to reveal any spoilers until the very end of the video. There are so many things to talk about spoiler-wise that I can't not include them in the video. On my first viewing, I did find the very beginning of the film to be a little bit muddy, only because it's an origin story. So you don't know everything there is to know about this character, and you're kind of waiting to see what's gonna happen. I didn't judge it too harshly for that because I figured everything would be explained by the time the film was over, which of course it was. But I do think that in a storytelling sense, it could have just been a little bit sharper. There was this pretty blonde thing running around with aliens when they were playing cops and robbers. And then suddenly there's this big explosion and everything's blue. It's very confusing, kittens. I don't know if I'd recommend this one. I want my money back, Josh. Honestly, for a film to have to tie into the pre-existing MCU and also launch a brand new character who is gonna be so integral to Avengers Endgame, I think that the film did an amazing job. I think everybody needs to see it twice, because if you saw it the first time and maybe you weren't quite satisfied, but you know what happens, go back and watch it again, because it's very interesting to see how the actors played their parts based on those twists and turns that were coming. I can't say too much now, we'll talk about it when I talk about spoilers.
Cheryl was asleep the whole time. Hashtag basic. But I loved it.
Josh bought one popcorn. Floyd ate the whole damn thing. Thank God I brought vodka.
My favorite character was obviously the little kitty Goose. Goose was so adorable.
Kittens, trust me. This is not a cat. It's a monster.
That little kitty came on screen and I knew right away, number one, he was my favorite, number two, rare. That little kitty named Gooses, I loved it so much. Josh, I know you're allergic to everything, but can we please get the kitties? I just really want the cat.
My favorite character was Nick Fury. He is the biggest badass in town. He doesn't even have any powers and still he kicks ass. Listen, if it came down to Nick Fury versus a Skrull, I know who I'd bet on. The Skrull would probably defeat him, but Nick Fury would not go down without a fight.
And then suddenly Samuel L. Jackson was there and I was like, oh my God, is this Shaft?
I liked that this was almost as much of an origin story for Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. as it was for Captain Marvel.
My favorite character in the film was definitely Talos. At first, you kind of judge him because he's a Skrull, aka an alien shapeshifter, which of course works against him because they're not the most attractive people in the film. But he's also kind of uncovering a mystery of his own. I appreciated Talos' humor, but also his dramatic side. He was very relatable. I found myself wanting to give him a hug. Carol Danvers' best friend, Maria Rambeau, is so nice.
You know who my favorite character was? That blue bitch. Oh, she looked fierce as hell. What was her name? Minerva? She was giving me nerves.
The special effects in this movie were insane. And I love the music in the movie so much. When Captain Marvel is fighting all the bad guys and that one song came on, I was like, oh, I know that one. I'm just a girl in the world.
The action sequences were super exciting, and all the pilot scenes, I really enjoyed those.
For me, the high point of the film was the rapport between Carol Danvers and Nick Fury. They got along so well.
And then she's flying around in spacecrafts and having flashbacks. It was so loud. There wasn't even any kissing. There was no sex. Nothing. Oh, God. Not that I thought that Nicholas J. Fury and Carol Danvers were gonna make out, but I mean, come on. They spent so much time together.
And I just kind of loved getting introduced to some characters who are definitely going to be playing a bigger role in the future. For example, Carol Danvers has a best friend named Maria Rambeau, whose daughter is named Monica. This girl got a lot of screen time. That's how I knew this girl is gonna be very important coming up here soon, whether it's in a Captain Marvel film, Captain Marvel 2, or whether she makes an appearance in Avengers Endgame. This character is coming, so be ready for her. There was a really nice moment in the field outside Maria's house when Carol Danvers is questioning herself and she's like, I don't think I can do it. And Maria's like, yes, you can. Do you hear me? You can. It made me cry.
I was told this film is a part of a larger franchise, but I was in prison for most of those ones. I'll probably be in prison again when the next one comes out.
My favorite character was definitely Captain Marvel. Her journey, especially when I watched it the second time, was a very powerful one. I really loved watching her come into her own. I also love Brie Larson. I've been following her career for a very long time, and when I heard that she was gonna be playing Captain Marvel, I knew she was gonna bring this spunk and this comedic edge to it, and I just thought she did a really great job. It was so much fun to see all the 90s references too, if you're a 90s kid like me. Obviously watching this film was like a blast to the past. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, is not just a woman, she is a warrior. She flies
flies a jet plane, shoots energy photon blasts out of her hands like it's nothing. And when the men tell her that she can't do it, she stands up and goes, bitch, watch me. That is my kind of girl. She's not even a girl, she's a woman.
So Marvel has some tricks up its sleeve.
Marvel is really good at being shady. Like, for example, the fact that they told us who Jude Law was gonna play and then they totally screwed with us. I was like, how dare you? And then I was like, but yes, it really worked. So like, thank you, Marvel. Thank you.
My hat is always off to Marvel because they have a colossal job trying to keep all these secrets, sometimes even from the actors themselves. Now, I do want to say something that I think is important to mention because there's all this outside drama surrounding this film at this moment. So, like a few days before the movie came out, all of these reviews came out and said, this movie is subpar, it falls short of the mark, it's just okay. Apparently there were people trolling Rotten Tomatoes, purposely giving it bad reviews. I honestly didn't read too much about this because I think that it's ridiculous. I posted about it on Facebook and I was like, how does everybody feel about this? Because I'm a little nervous now that the movie isn't gonna be good. Then I found out that people were trolling. People need to get lives. A lot of work goes into making these movies. There are so many people involved. And to try to downgrade the movie before it even comes out, why? What's the purpose? What's the point? But in addition to the trolling, there was something else that I read and that I also heard at the movie theater that I wanted to address. A lot of people have been saying that Captain Marvel is anti-men, or that it pushes the feminist agenda a little too far.
Now, I've heard this argument that like the movie is anti-man, and I call bullshit on that. The reason why is because Carol Danvers is surrounded by men the entire film. Some of them suck and some of them are amazing. The ones who are amazing, they help her on her journey. So it's not an anti-man film, it's obviously a film about working together, which is exactly what we need to do in this day and age, Donald Trump, thank you.
I also read a review that said that the feminist aspect of the film is too little too late, meaning Wonder Woman already came out and we already experienced the woman coming into her own power moment. My argument is, why does there only need to be one film where a woman steps into her greatness and saves the world? How many superhero movies have there been where the male character has to step up and become his best self? Why can't there be multiple of women doing that? It's not too little too late. We are in the thick of the Me Too movement right now. We are in the thick of the Time's Up movement right now. This is the time for films like this to be happening. It just doesn't make sense to me that people are hating on this film for having an agenda, which I don't think it has an agenda. I think it's genuinely about a woman discovering what she is capable of and literally taking it and flying with it.
Man, if you think this film is anti-men, I need your balls to drop because it is not. It is obviously a celebration of women and all that we stand for. Obviously, Nick Fury is helping her the entire movie. If she had a thing against men, Nick Fury would be like Nicolette Fury, okay? Do you know how many of the Avengers are men? 5 out of 6. What percentage is that, man? Let's do the math, thank you.
One thing I heard after the second viewing of the film, I heard two guys talking about this. They said, this film is so anti-men. And then they referenced a moment in the film where one of the male characters says to Carol in a flashback, women can't be pilots. There's a reason why they call it the cockpit. And the guy said, men would never say that in real life. Newsflash, I've heard way worse things said to women by men on this planet in this lifetime. So that argument doesn't fly with me.
There were these bad men talking about how this movie was anti-men's and how it was a bad thing that it was focused on women's. And I said, no, you are wrong. We love movies about powerful women's. We love movies where people help each other.
Women can do anything, and there better be a sex scene in the next film.
I just really loved the feminine energy in the film because it really showed me that like teamwork makes the dream work. Obviously, Veers would never have discovered that she was Carol Danvers and then become Captain Marvel without a lot of teamwork.
This is a Marvel film featuring women. This is a celebration. The fact that people can't handle that kind of scares me. It is 2019. What are you doing? Why is it so difficult for people to understand? Let's not read further into it than we need to. My greatest takeaway from the film was the overall message, which is don't limit yourself, step into your power. Don't let anybody else limit you either. I am a male and I was able to soak up that message. I found it just as powerful as I'm sure any female viewer did. Okay, let's do spoilers now. I'm so excited to do spoilers. Do not watch past this point if you don't want to know any spoilers from this film or from any of the other Marvel films. This is your only warning. Pause the video, go watch one of my other videos. If you do want to talk more about this film, keep watching. Oh my God, so the first bonus scene was so exciting. I like jumped out of my skin. I was so happy. When Captain Marvel showed up in the bonus scenes, I jumped right into Joanna's laps. I said, oh my God, she's gonna help the Avengers.
Floyd jumped into Joanne's lap and I screamed!
Oh my god, when Captain Marvel appeared in the bonus scene with the Avengers, I freaked out, mate. I screamed like a baby along with everyone else. I was so thrilled that they didn't leave us with a little cliffhanger. They flat out told us Captain Marvel is there, she is coming to help, and the Avengers now have another ally that they need in order to undo Thanos' snap.
Nick Fury sends you a message, you respond.
Probably the most thrilling bonus scene in any Marvel movie ever. That said, the moment in the movie that actually gave me straight up chills and made me giddy, like I was like, ooh, is when Nick Fury looks at the picture of Carol Danvers right at the last moment of the film when she's in her jet and you see on the side of the jet Carol Avenger Danvers. Oh my god. I got such chills because it's like she's been an Avenger the whole time. It was just so great. Even though she hasn't physically been with them this whole time, they're called the Avengers because of her. Freaking awesome, Marvel.
At first I thought the cat was kind of annoying, but then when I found out it was a Flurkin, I freaked out, man. Then I got a little bit mad at it for scratching out Fury's eye. How dare you, kitty?
It was so funny when the little kitten scratched out Sammy J's eye. I chortled a little bit. A little poop came out on that one.
That's why he has an eye patch! It makes so much more sense to me now. Goose, you are my flirky flark for life. I was very disturbed when the cat coughed up the Tesseract. I was like, that's a sick cat. Somebody bring that cat to a doctor.
The best moment of the movie is obviously when Carol Danvers becomes Captain Marvel. There's all these missiles flying at Earth. She takes them out like they're cotton swabs.
When we found out the aliens were actually nices, I got so happy. I was so scared of them the whole movie. I thought they were going to eat Carol Danvers. What I love about the film is that you think that Talos is a bad guy, but it turns out he's not. Has he done bad things? Yeah. Have we all? Yeah. I had 3 hot dogs last night for dinner. I regret it. But he also does good. And that's why him and Carol Danvers, they learn how to understand each other. Also, Annette Bening's character in this film I thought was so special. First of all, the fact that she ended up playing Mar-Vell was such a surprise. I loved that because, this is what I was saying earlier, Jude Law was rumored to be playing Mar-Vell. I think it even said that on IMDb for a while. So everybody thought he's playing Mar-Vell. He's the Kree who gives Carol Danvers her powers. But in this film, Mar-Vell is played by a woman. The way that Jude Law plays his character is so ingenious because when you know that he's evil, you see how he manipulates Carol and how he suppresses her power. Again, that is not a statement against men. It is a statement against his character. His character is suppressing her because he knows how powerful she is. There's this big question in the MCU of where has Captain Marvel been all this time? Well, they answer that in the film. What Talos says to Captain Marvel is, this is just the beginning. There are thousands of Skrulls scattered across the galaxy, and they're all in hiding because they didn't want the Kree to be attacking them. So he says to her, with your help, with your light speed engine, we'll be able to travel far away so that we can live and thrive and prosper away from the Kree, and also maybe on the way we can pick up some of our brethren. So Captain Marvel is taking them to a new location so that they can have a new home and effectively rebuild a civilization. It's really quite marvelous. Also, right before Captain Marvel sends Yon-Rogg back to Holla, she says to him, you need to tell the Supreme Intelligence, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna end the war, and I'm gonna set everybody straight. So she's got a lot of work ahead of her. So it's like, while the Avengers have been on Earth defending Earth from Loki and Ultron and Thanos, Captain Marvel's like helping reunite civilizations and ending wars, and she's doing a lot of other intergalactic stuff. So that's why when she gives the pager to Fury, she's like, emergencies only, mate. Don't bother me. I've got a shit ton of stuff to do. Oh my god, there are so many things that are gonna go down in Avengers Endgame. I just can't even wait. The bigger question is, wherever Captain Marvel was, did people disintegrate there too? Because if they did, then she's lucky, number one, that she didn't get disintegrated by Thanos' snap. But if she was in a place where she's been helping these Skrulls rebuild their civilization, and then suddenly half of them disappear, I mean, oh my god, she's gonna be stressed as hell. When she appears in the bonus scene, she looks very stressed. She's definitely aged a little bit, but she looks pretty much the same, which begs the question, is there time travel involved? Because if she doesn't look significantly older than she did in Captain Marvel, and now in the bonus clip we're talking about present day, did she jump to the future? Or does she just not age as quickly as everyone else because of her powers? And if the Avengers are ever going to work together to defeat Thanos, they need to band together. They need to accept Captain Marvel's help. There's so many questions that still have to be answered, mate. It's just crazy.
I don't know if I'll see any more of these films. Apparently we're supposed to go see one called Endgame. Fuck is that? I don't even know what it's about. It's all these heroes flying around, hitting each other. Come on, get a hobby. You don't have any board games on your planet? Read a book.
I just don't even know what I'm gonna do when that movie comes out.
Avengers Endgame is gonna be so sick, I'm not even gonna be able to handle it. Cheryl's not coming to that one.
I can't wait for Avengers Endgames. It's going to be so epic.
Thanos, you're going down.
Thank you so much for listening to our reactions about this film. If you enjoyed this reaction review type video, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below if you agree or disagree or have any other things you want to add to our analysis. Please do. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. We do some cray-cray videos, but we also do some movie reviews, TV reviews, other how-to type things. So if any of those sound like they're up your alley, please subscribe. Also, share this with somebody who you think might enjoy it. I could talk about Marvel films all day. I could talk about most films all day. So if you would like to continue the conversation with us over on Instagram or on Twitter, follow me at Josharoo, and let's keep the conversation going, because again, I need to talk to somebody about this stuff, okay? I can't just like sit and not talk about it. And yes, we will be doing a major review video about Avengers Endgame. Oh, there are gonna be some reactions. I don't even know if I can handle it, but that is coming. Oh my God, Captain Marvel was insane.
Oh, I robbed a few blockbusters in my day. I never stole movies there, just candy. And video games. Looney Tunes Racing, anyone? That's me, Wile E. Coyote.